welcome to Caldwell Cooks. My name's Chef Corey Hooks, and today it's all about pizza. So with these videos, I'm trying to keep recipes that, play around 5 to 6 ingredients, something that you can find in your pantry or in your home kitchen, and it's not going to be too hard to find in the grocery store. But today is all about pizza. I love making pizzas. It's more versatile nowadays. You can easily get pizza stones and use them in your ovens at home, or you can even throw them on your grill outside. I love using charcoal grill with a pizza stone. And a tip for advice here is use the all-natural lump hardwood charcoal. It gets a lot harder than the briquettes and the Kingsford and the Matchlight charcoal, and not to mention it's a lot better for you. There's no fillers or additives. It's all natural lump charcoal. And it can get up to 600 degrees if you have a good grill that's got a good lid on top. But let's talk about dough for a minute. Pizza dough, you can easily find it in the grocery store now. I believe Food Line has it, Publix, Lowe's Foods, etc. But it's very easy to make as well. It's really not that difficult, especially if you have a mixer at home. I will go ahead and provide that recipe for you. But we call this dough a lean dough. Pizza dough falls under the lean dough category because it doesn't have a lot of sugar, doesn't have a lot of fat, and the yeast, it is a fermented yeast dough, which means the yeast is converting that sugar into alcohol. The CO2 is creating that leavening for you. So you can find instant yeast in your grocery store. You can find hard flour or what is called bread flour in your grocery store nowadays. And if you're worried about fermentation or proofing your bread, a little tip that I use at home, because I don't have a proofer at home either, is I'll get a small pot of boiling water, take it off the stove, slide it in your oven, and just close your oven. And it gets your oven to about 100 degrees, which is a good proofing temp. Proofing temp needs to be around 90 to 100. Put that small pot of water in your oven. It'll keep that oven around 90 degrees for at least 30-45 minutes, which is the time span that you need for this pizza dough to proof. It'll double in size, and then you'll make your shapes and your rounds and let it sit at room temp for about 20 minutes, and you're ready to go. You're making pizzas, right? So first, we're going to start with our tomatoes. Today we're making a Margherita pizza, one of my favorites. Very classical Neapolitan style pizza. A lot of history on where it originated and how it originally started is really up for debate. This pizza's been in the history books since the late 1700s. It really didn't get popular till the early 1800s. They said it was invented for the Queen of Italy, representing the 3 colors of the Italian flag, which is red with the tomatoes, white with the mozzarella, and green with the basil that we're going to actually add to the top. But this is one of my versions of the Margherita pizza, and we're going to start out by marinating these tomatoes, okay? Obviously the time of year depends on how good the tomato is going to be, right? So the type of tomato is totally up to you. Obviously a nice farm-grown tomato will be great, or local would be great. It's just hard to find that right now. Okay, I'm going to do a large slice on these tomatoes. Notice what kind of knife I'm using. I have this knife beside me, but I'm using this one, right? Slightly serrated. Serrated blades are good for soft flesh fruits and vegetables, okay? It's what you want to use these types of blades for, okay? Tomatoes have a lot of acid. Acid eventually dulls your knife, okay? So I want to keep my straight blade knife over here, keep it away from my tomatoes, and I want to go for the serrated blade because it goes right through that skin nice, right? So we're going to slice these up real nice. Just like that. Put them in our bowl here. Now I'm going to switch my blade. We're going to add a nice garlic clove to that. It's always easier to smash your garlic before you try to chop it. Okay, helps expedite the process. Okay, so we're going to do a nice mince on this garlic clove. Just like that. Add it straight to our tomatoes. It's obviously optional, subjective, how much you want to put in. I love garlic, so we're adding a whole clove. A little bit of fresh basil. We're going to do a chiffonade. I'm going to show you what a nice chiffonade is. Okay. Chiffonade is what we use for leafy vegetables, herbs. Okay. Tend to throw the largest leaf on bottom, put your small ones on top. And we're just going to roll. Just going to roll. Okay. This is called a ribbon or a thread cut. Notice my 3-finger trick. I got 2 fingers in behind, I got 1 in front. I'm using my knuckle as a guide. I know my blade's not going to come above my middle knuckle, so I'm not going to cut myself, okay? Nice, beautiful chiffonade here of basil. I'm going to add that as well. If you don't have fresh basil, you can use dried. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and chiffonade just a little more, and we will use that for garnishing our pizza. So again, chiffonade, we're going to put a larger leaf on bottom, stack up our smaller leaves. That way we'll be ready when the pizza comes out. You can cut it thicker if you like. The thinner you cut it, the more you're going to get out of it, the further it's going to go. Okay. Careful not to cut yourself. Just going to slide this to the edge of our board here. Let's finish our tomatoes. All right. So we're going to season. Pinch of salt, okay? Pinch of salt. A little bit of fresh cracked pepper, okay? Everybody asks me, what's your favorite seasoning? Salt, obviously, right? Salt is a magnifying glass for all the other ingredients in a dish, okay? It highlights those ingredients, okay? So that's what salt's used for. Yes, I put salt in everything almost, to be honest with you. My cake batters have salt. A lot of my sweets have salt. Why? Because it enhances that vanilla. It enhances that orange flavoring or whatever flavoring you might have in that dish. Okay? A little bit of salt. Another thing this salt's going to do, it's going to start pulling that tomato flavor out, right? It's going to start pulling that flavor out. Now we're going to add some balsamic reduction or balsamic glaze. About a tablespoon, and about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Give that a nice toss. Stir this up. Now, you can let this marinate for a couple hours. You can let it marinate half a day. Let it marinate overnight. These will be good for up to 5 to 6 days. And then the tomato will start breaking down. It really depends on how thick you cut your tomatoes. This makes a very beautiful bruschetta as well. Crostini, tomato, fresh mozzarella, basil, balsamic drizzle, beautiful bruschetta, okay? But this makes an amazing, amazing pizza. You can already see the nice color, right? So we're going to set those aside, let those marinate. These right here have been marinating overnight. You can already see how the tomato is a lot softer, starting to break down, right? And see all the juices that it's pulled out of the tomatoes. Okay, that's all tomato juice. Okay, I didn't put that much vinegar and balsamic in there. It's all tomato juice coming out. Okay, so it's essentially made a tomato vinaigrette overnight. Okay. So we're essentially macerating these tomatoes. That's what we're doing. Now we have our tomatoes. Set our cutting board aside. And let's start rolling out some pizza dough, okay? Pizza dough. This is about a 4 to 5 ounce dough. It's gonna make about a 10-inch pizza, which is a good personal size pizza. Nice and floured in a bowl. Rule of thumb, keep your round round, okay? It's gonna help you keep it round when you roll it out. Okay, so if you start out with a round shape, it's easier to keep it round. Nice and floured. We're punching out that fermentation, punching out that CO2 that's been happening during the fermentation process here. Flour aside. Rolling pin, smooth strokes, okay? Back and forth, spin. Spin. Notice how I'm going off every side, all right? The objective is to get an even thickness all the way through, okay? Like I said, 4 to 5 ounce, going to give you about a 10-inch slice or a 10-inch pie. I love calling it pies, right? It's a pizza pie. Okay. A little dusting of flour if you need it. This is how I like stretching my doughs. Yes, you can toss your pizza dough if you would like. I don't suggest it unless you're really practiced at it. This is an easy way to stretch your dough like this without getting it caught on your chandelier or your ceiling fan. Okay, got a nice round size there. Nice dough. Dust your hands. First things first, little extra virgin olive oil around the outside. You can dock your pizza as well, which is pricking holes in it to help alleviate bubbles during the cooking process. I have not had to do that with this dough. I don't mind 1 or 2 bubbles either, so it's really just up to you. You can use a pizza docker. You can easily take a fork and just prick it a few times. And we're going to season this dough, guys. Season. That's what's going to set your pizza apart from everybody else's. Okay? Season that dough just a little bit. Might want to use a little less pepper there if you want. Clean your table. Now, before I start adding my ingredients, I'm going to put this underneath my dough. Okay? This right here is semolina flour. Okay? It's a Durham wheat flour. And what it is it's real coarse. Okay? It's real coarse. So what that does is it helps the pizza not to stick to the table, not to stick to the peel, which is this thing right here. So right here is what we call a pizza peel, which is how we get it in and out of the oven and up and off the table onto a plate. So what we're going to do is going to put a little semolina down. Now watch how this just glides on the table now, right? It's that semolina flour. If you don't have semolina, which it is difficult to find in the grocery store sometimes, you can use cornmeal, okay? Same thing. Cornmeal is nice and coarse. It'll help that pizza to slide. So if you've ever seen black crusty bits on a pizza pie or on the bottom and you can't figure out what it is, it's most likely semolina because they use it in pizza shops, okay? Olive oil, salt, a little bit of pepper. Now we're going in for the good stuff, okay? Get our fresh marinated tomatoes here. This is our base, okay? Margherita was meant to represent the Italian flag. So we got red with the tomatoes. We're going to have white with the buffalo mozzarella. And this is fresh grated mozz right here. Okay. Another thing is, pizzas generally only need 3 ingredients. Okay. Not including your cheese, obviously. Maybe your sauce. But if you start getting over 3 ingredients on a pizza, you're just putting the whole kitchen sink on there, right? You need to have 3 ingredients. That way those 3 ingredients can shine. You can actually taste those ingredients, and one's not overpowering the other. So my rule of thumb is 3 ingredients to a pie, you're good to go. Now we're gonna go straight to the oven. Now watch this semolina on the bottom. Look how that pie just slides right on my peel. You can see the semolina right here. That keeps my pie moving so it don't stick, okay? Into a 650-degree oven. That should take 5 minutes. We're gonna spin it one time. You might have to spin it more than once at home. It depends on the hot spots in your oven. So that's something you will have to play with. But what I love about this is you can get the kids interacted in it. Each person can build their own pizza. And I like doing it over the summertime on my grill because I use my all-natural hardwood charcoal. I can get my grill over 600 degrees, have your pizza stone, and it's just a fun interaction with the kids and the family as well. So we're gonna let that cook. Bring our cutting board back over. We have our nice basil here for garnish. I'm gonna grab a plate so we can plate it. All right, we moved over here to our pizza oven. Now, this is our deck oven that we use for a number of different things. It's got a ceramic stone bottom, so we use it as a hearth oven, which means to cook directly on the stone. So we're actually using this top one for our pizzas. I don't expect you to have a $10,000 deck oven at home, so that's why I gave those alternatives, pizza stones for your oven, your grill, etc. I've actually been known to throw my dough straight on the grill, grill it on both sides, then take it off, put your toppings on, and you can stick it under your broiler in your oven to melt your cheese, to get all your other ingredients hot. So there's a number of different ways you can approach this dish. This oven right here don't have as many hot spots, so I usually just spin it one time and you're good to go. And it depends on how crispy you like your crust. I think you really need a nice char on the bottom of your crust if you really want a true Neapolitan style pizza or a coal-fired, wood-fired pizza. It needs to have a nice char on the bottom. You need some color. You can see we're getting there. This has been about 90 seconds. So all in all, about 4 to 5 minutes at 600, 650. When I ran a pizza station using an Italian oven, wood fire oven, we kept that oven around 720 degrees. Okay, it literally took 3 to 4 minutes. That pizza was done. So that gives you kind of an idea. If you got a wood fire pizza oven, 700 degrees was usually our magic number. We were between 675, 720 at all times with that pizza oven. This one only goes up to 650. So it usually takes about 5 to 6 minutes versus that 3 to 4 minute cook time. Again, that 4-ounce dough size makes for a nice personal pan pizza. It's easier to maintain. It's easier to get in and out of the oven. You don't have to necessarily have a pizza peel. You can use a spatula if you need to. Something else they make that's real nice is a screen. Pizza screen is what they call them, which is a round screen that fits in an oven. So you can still get that crisp bottom, and it's easier to get the pizzas in and out. So that might be an option too. If you don't have a pizza peel, you can still use that stone, slide that screen under it and be able to pull it out. So that's also an option that you can have. We're getting nice and bubbly now. I'll just go ahead and open this up and maybe the camera can give you a shot of the pizza cooking there. Now don't worry about the black, that's semolina. We've been cooking pizzas all week here in class. We're in Italy for my global class, so we've been cooking pizzas all week. So you can see that nice bubble, that nice char. That's what we're going for, okay? See the color on the edge of the pizza there? That's what you're going for. Another 90 seconds and this pizza is ready to come out. All right, that extra 90 seconds. See our pie, beautiful color around the crust, a nice char on the bottom there, bubbly. All in all, that was 4 to 5 minutes, right? 600, 650. We're gonna bring it to our cutting board here. Take it off. I just do 4 slices. You can do more if you like, totally up to you. Let's use our peel. Let's get it back on our plate. Make a nice presentation here. I'm going to do a nice balsamic drizzle. That fresh basil we chiffonade earlier. Beautiful chiffonade there. Beautiful color. White, red, green. Colors of the Italian flag. Pizza alla Margherita. There you go. Margherita pizza. Possibilities are endless. It's a very good pizza dough recipe, so I'll include that as well. Thanks for being here with Caldwell Cooks. Again, my name's Chef Corey, and look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks.